Hello, I'm Nellie Oliensis, Chair of the Department of Classics here at UC Berkeley. Though we couldn't hold our commencement ceremony this year, we didn't want to let the moment pass without taking the time to celebrate the phenomenal class of 2020.
For me, coming from a small town in Connecticut to Berkeley was pretty overwhelming, and I've been so fortunate to have found through the Classics Department an amazing community that made this huge and overwhelming place feel smaller and more personable.
I struggled a lot in the years preceding coming to Cal, and when I got here, I was pretty scared, and I thought I was going to fail again. That's not what happened. Thanks to the support of my professors, GSIs, and faculty members.
This whole department has been just incredibly kind to me, so I truly want to thank everybody, but I'd like to give a special shout out to a few people. I want to thank Dr. Shelton for the whole experience of the field school at Adonia, which was just so mind-blowingly cool. I still can't believe it's like a real thing I actually got to do.
I especially want to shout out Dr. Kathleen McCarthy, who's just been a huge resource and mentor to me as I've just tried to figure out and navigate through this crazy time of higher education.
I would like to thank all those involved with the Undergraduate Journal of Classics for all of their help turning my first publication into something worth reading, Professor Pena for providing me with the first opportunity to conduct research in classics, and for mentoring me as I began working on my own.
I'd like to thank my Greek workshop instructors, Chris Jellin, Esther Romer, David Yude, and Chris Waldo, for being just the most talented and compassionate instructors ever, who got me and everyone else through that whole crazy summer.
Professor Mastronardi for giving me the chance to explore the wonderful world of paleography.
Professors McCrae, Murphy, Kirk, Papazarkidis, and Griffith. I also want to thank Cassandra for being such a kind, understanding, and helpful department advisor.
You taught me, you guided me, you listened to me ramble on and on about frivolous things. You didn't make me feel stupid for asking endless questions, for pronouncing classicists wrong, for spelling Roman wrong, and for being more than a bit confused when reading Agricola and asking, so when is he going to start talking about the farmer?
I've really loved being part of the Berkeley Classics department. Freshman year, I took a couple of classics courses just for fun. And each time I was inspired to take another one after that.
It has just been an awesome experience being a part of a department that just cares so much about their students, their well-being and their academics, and their futures. It has just been an absolute blessing, and I just couldn't be more thankful for the time that I've had.
I can't believe it's already coming to an end, but I'm so thankful for my 3 years here at Berkeley.
From snacking on Mediterranean food and chatting with Cassandra at the undergraduate receptions, to brainstorming paper ideas with Professor McCarthy during office hours,
Reviving the Classical Forum with Catherine and Tessa,
Learning classical languages,
performing the Bacchae with Professor Griffith's Greek 102 class,
breaking my ankle while studying for my Latin 100 final,
studying under some of the most amazing professors in the entire world,
witnessing Dr. Shelton documenting the opening of a 3,000-year-old Mycenaean chamber tomb at Idonia this past summer,
and just taking so many incredible classes with so many incredible professors.
The classics, to me, are a conversation, a discussion, almost, that goes back to ancient Greece and Rome and has continued to this day and sort of takes place now around the whole world. And it's a discussion about these fundamental ideas of philosophy, art, culture, history that you can really plug into and really try and understand history by studying ancient Greece and Rome and then sort of continuing to the present.
Each and every one of my professors has encouraged me to question my own preconceived notions of antiquity and even my own perceptions of normalcy in today's society using the classical world. Shout out to Classics 161. And these are lessons I will take with me as I leave college behind for the real world.
As far as the future goes, I hope to get some working experience for a year or two in the legal industry before pursuing either law school or grad school.
This fall, I'll be departing from Morocco with the Peace Corps and later plan to pursue a PhD in ancient history. And I have no doubt that the lessons I've learned during my time with the department will continue to shape the way that I approach issues and challenges, both modern and historical.
While I'm so sad I never really got the chance to say my proper goodbyes, I hope this will suffice for now, until I can one day hopefully return to Berkeley.
I'm really grateful to UC Berkeley for allowing me to study this, for helping me so much in understanding these texts and ideas. And I absolutely have to thank all the terrific GSIs and professors, and of course Cassandra, for helping me along the way.
I've loved all my professors and classmates, and being part of Berkeley Classics has definitely made my experience at Berkeley so much better. So thank you all for being part of that.
So thank you for making me excited to come to class every day and for making this East Coaster feel so welcome, comfortable, and heard for the past 3.75 years.
I never imagined my life would be so happy and so full, and much of that is thanks to all of you. And for that, I am forever grateful.
I'll never forget my time here at Berkeley, and I'll always treasure being a classics major. Thank you, and go Bears.
Next, I'd like to announce some of the honors and awards won by our graduates. This year, 3 students wrote senior theses under the auspices of the honors program in classics. Makai Nguyen has been awarded high honors for his thesis, Repression and Resistance in Roman Comedy, written under the direction of Professor Kathleen McCarthy. Alex Reed has been awarded high honors for his thesis, also written under Professor McCarthy's direction, entitled Deans and Declensions, A History of Latin Pedagogy in American Undergraduate Education, 1900 to 2000. And Tessa Rodriguez has been awarded honors for her thesis, Portrait of a Mummy, a comparative analysis of painted mummy portraits and marble sarcophagi with imagines clipeatae, written under the direction of Professor Chris Hallett. Our congratulations to all 3. Next, our departmental prizes. This year's winner of the Chair's Book Prize, awarded annually to an outstanding graduating major, is Alex Reed. Alex is a double major in classics and history, and he wrote honors theses for both of his departments. Faculty who have had the pleasure of teaching him describe him as a delight, thoughtful, sensitive, and curious. His thesis for classics, which involved deep dives into archives held at various institutions across the nation, beautifully showcased his research skills along with his ability to write exceptionally limpid and sophisticated prose. Our congratulations to Alex. Next, we come to the Community Prize, a newly instituted departmental award designed to recognize a student who combines academic excellence with exceptional contributions to the life of our community. This year's inaugural winner is Tessa Rodriguez. Faculty describe Tessa as fantastically engaged and seemingly interested in every aspect of antiquity. For her honors thesis, she took on an unusually ambitious comparative topic, which involved learning to read hieroglyphics, among other things. As a research apprentice at the Center for the Tebtunis Papyri, she created a much-lauded mini-tour and accompanying brochure for the Object Lessons show. Tessa has also been extraordinarily generous in sharing her time and creativity to help others get to know the department. At Cal Day last year, for example, she wowed visitors and locals by appearing as Athena in a costume she'd made herself. Our gratitude and congratulations to Tessa. And finally, we come to the Chair's Award for Distinction in Classics and the Departmental Citation, which go to 2 outstanding undergraduates majoring in the department. The winners of these awards traditionally address the graduating class, and this year's winners have contributed short videos, which we're including in this celebration. This year's winner of the Departmental Citation is Catherine Kuczynski. Catherine is an all-around standout student who wins praise from my colleagues for her first-rate language skills and the sheer excellence of her mind, as well as her keen ability to think about the ideas and assumptions that shape our texts. She was a research apprentice for 2 years at the Nemea Center, where she made significant contributions, successfully tackling the most complicated projects. On top of all this, she has been a great contributor to the department and is largely responsible for reviving our classical forum and greatly increasing its membership. Our congratulations to Catherine. And now, let's hear from Catherine.
When Professor Oliensis emailed me a couple weeks ago that I had won the departmental citation, I was absolutely thrilled and honored. Not only because Classics at Berkeley has been such a meaningful part of my college experience, but also because this was a much-needed piece of good news during these otherwise difficult times. I know that this pandemic has been a roller coaster for all of us, and as a graduating class, we've lost so much. This certainly wasn't the ending everyone was expecting, and like everyone else, I'm disappointed that I had to finish up my undergraduate career remotely some 3,000 miles away in Connecticut, when the past almost 4 years have been so incredible. And if there's a silver lining to be had, I'm hopeful that the tools we've all learned in virtual communication will allow us to stay in touch as we physically part ways. I came into Berkeley fairly confident that I wanted to study classics, having fallen in love with Latin in high school, but the moment I knew I was hooked was when in Classics 10A with Professor Griffith, after reading the passage in the Iliad about Cleopatra and Meleager, he wrote out Cleopatra backwards in Greek on the chalkboard, which read Patroclus. Literally the entire lecture hall erupted in applause, and shortly after, I enrolled in my first semester of Greek. It's been nearly 4 years since then. I had no idea what I wanted to do back then. All I knew was that I loved classical languages. But over the course of 4 years and a number of different experiences within and outside of classics, I figured out my path forward. During the Contours of Coexistence, a 6-week study abroad program in Eastern Europe during the summer after my freshman year, I learned how important classicists are to memorializing the past, including much more recent histories. And as an intern at the State Department, I accompanied a group of museum professionals from Libya to the Med, where they were hoping to learn more about museum security. In a room where we were surrounded on all sides by the Met's high-tech surveillance systems, listening to the Libyan professionals describe their struggles trying to protect antiquities in a country plagued by civil unrest was heart-wrenching. That afternoon, I left with a newfound desire not only to preserve, but to protect. The following spring, I studied abroad at the Intercollegiate Center for Classical Studies in Rome. I remember struggling with that decision, which would of course mean leaving Berkeley. I was particularly upset about missing Homer with Professor Kirk, but shout out to Professor Tello, who somehow managed to make remote learning of Homer totally work. So I spoke with Professor McCarthy, and hearing about her own positive experiences at the Centro convinced me to go. Rome was, of course, amazing. I mean, it's Rome. But more importantly, the Centro exposed me to even more cultural heritage dilemmas I hope to one day grapple with, like the cases of the dancing satyr and the Euphroneous crater. Fast forward to the next summer, where I joined Dr. Shelton in Idonia, Greece for her new excavation season. There, I saw firsthand the devastating effects of looting on the context of ancient artifacts. Every day on our way to the Mycenaean cemetery, we drove by the house in the local village that had been paid for by gold looted from the ancient tombs. And on the site, I was taught to identify the hallmarks of looters. But hey, we uncovered an untouched tomb on my birthday. I'd like to think that it was a present to me from the Greek gods. Seriously though, I now knew what I wanted to do. My goal is to go to law school and pursue a career in cultural heritage law, protecting the past that has meant so much to me my entire life, especially while at Berkeley. So somehow, 4 years have passed, and I find myself struggling to find words to do them justice, especially remotely. I could not have predicted that my studies of the classical world would lead me to the law. In fact, I think everyone can relate when I say that I've had my fair share of, oh, classics? What are you going to do with that? But we classicists form a close circle, so it should have come as no surprise to me that when I bumped into Professor Griffith at this semester's undergraduate reception, he had a story to share with me about cultural heritage, the scandal with the Oxford professor who tried to sell some of the famous Oxyrhynchus papyri collection. That brief exchange was yet another sign to me that I was on the right track. I suspect there will always be doubters, those who think that classics have no relevance in today's world and don't speak to the average person. But I taught a class on classical mythology to high school students in November with one of my fellow graduates, Cindy Chang, and they completely got it. They were incensed by the misogynistic blame leveled at Helen for the Trojan War, and they wanted to know if there was truth behind the more modern retellings of the Iliad in which Achilles and Patroclus are lovers. And it seems that in every interview, the one topic on my resume that everyone is dying for me to dish about is that dig. If nothing else, we classicists are pretty cool. So I'll sign off with so much gratitude and love for this campus, my professors, and my colleagues. Agite Ursai, or Go Bears.
And finally, this year's winner of the Chair's Award for Distinction in Classics is Audrey Salo, a double major in classical civilizations and astrophysics. My colleagues praise Audrey as an original thinker and brilliant interpreter, incredibly smart, engaged, sharp, critical, a wonderful writer, and an excellent, attentive, and imaginative reader. My colleagues in Greek literature, her main focus in the department, are incredibly impressed by Audrey's originality and tell me she regularly shows them things in the text they hadn't seen before. Our congratulations to Audrey. And here she is.
Class of 2020, if you're watching this, you made it. After years of toiling over translations and timelines and texts of all kinds, you reached the finish line, and I certainly hope I'm not the first to say congratulations. However, I know that congratulations may feel a bit stale, since there's something of an elephant in the room, namely that we are in different rooms right now. This doesn't even have the personal touch of a Zoom meeting. I am talking to my camera alone in my room, and you've pressed play. Which feels strange, because we all know that today wasn't supposed to feel so disjointed. There was supposed to be a touch of pomp and circumstance today. We were supposed to be able to hug our friends who walked this path with us and thank all those here who helped us know the way. And if graduation is anything like other classics department events, I have to assume that wine and cheese were supposed to be involved somewhere too. But instead, all of us are here, wherever here may be for each of us in turn. And although this is a small grief compared to many of those on the table these days, there is a kind of tragedy inherent to a group of people who have become the keepers of stories of all kinds, having to come to terms with the fact that this is not how this part of their story was supposed to go at all. It is difficult to know what to say about these circumstances. It's been so talked to death already, it feels like it's all been said before, and by much better spoken people besides. That said, this feeling is something of a familiar one for we who have entered this field, which is composed of, quite by definition, such a long chain of voices all speaking about the same things. And part of the creed shared by those who form that chain, in which we have all of us earned our place, is that there is value in a retelling. So, with your indulgence, I would like to do what has been done by many before, and talk about connection in a time of isolation. There is an experience that I believe is common to all students of the past, which has been, by far, my favorite thing about my time here. It's that moment when you become acutely aware that a person is responsible for what you are studying, when you can just feel that human hand made the pot or set the stone laid out before you, and that the words on the page open on your desk didn't just fall out of the sky and into the book, but were written by a person who lived a whole life long before they ever wrote a word that you just happened to read. A few of my personal favorite examples are the trash-talking graffiti on the stadium tunnel in Nemea, the heartbreaking kindness with which Hephaestus speaks to a grieving friend in Iliad 18, and just about everything Sappho ever wrote about love which was treasured but is here no longer. And I'm sure that all of you listening can think of a few of your own, wherever you may be, and whatever may speak to you the most. All of this, laughing at jokes written over 2,000 years ago and finding the fingerprints in the clay, is a profound act of connection between human beings. All of that time that we spent studying the things that we studied and learning the things we have learned was a masterclass in empathy, just as much as it was in history, literature, philology, or any of those other great pillars of the field. These are people that we cannot see, will never be in the same room with, who are about as far from us in both space and time as can be comfortably conceived of. And yet, through what tenuous bridges of papyrus and pottery remain, we can sense their presence and feel a little less alone. It should be remembered, then, that if such improbable and one-sided connections to strangers who are long dead can be so impactful, then all hope is not yet lost for the people who are dear to us, but still here, if farther away than we'd like. For the mentors and friends here in Berkeley for whom goodbyes came too suddenly and too soon, for loved ones who were meant to come and share this day with us, but instead had to stay home, and for all those that we miss even on days when we have no special reason to. These separations are difficult, and they are painful, but they are not impassable. However you are celebrating with those dear to you today, I wish you joy, I wish you pride, and may that shared spark of humanity, about which you have learned so much during your time here, be enough to keep you warm until you meet again.
Class of 2020, let me just add, speaking on behalf of the entire Classics faculty, that it has been a true pleasure and a privilege to teach you. You've earned our affection and our respect, and we definitely won't forget you, and we really hope you won't forget us. You are all invited to return next year for what we hope will be an in-person commencement ceremony held jointly with the class of 2021. Meanwhile, let me present the graduating class of 2020. Mia Borlangen, Cindy Chang, Roman Colau, Victoria Kuvas, Scott Gildea, Gerant R. Hughes, Catherine Kuczynski, Kate McDowell, Makhai Nguyen, Alex Reed, Anna Tessa Rodriguez, Sean Sabella, Audrey Salo, Drew Shibstead, Basil Trenham, Jesse Wong. Congratulations to you all. Congratulations to the class of 2020.
Hello, everybody. Congratulations, and I'm sure that you will have a splendid career.
I want to tell you all I enjoyed learning so much from each of you, and know that everything I learned from all of you, I'll be sharing with the classes that come after you. I'm so proud of you. I know the faculty are all really proud of you, and most important, your families are proud of you. Even though we can't be together, and I didn't get to meet your families as I had been dreaming of for so long, I'm just really happy to say congratulations, and you did a great job.
Hello, this is Mark Griffith and Prince, with my warmest congratulations to each and every one of you as you graduating classics this May 2020. We, the faculty, are very proud of you, all of you, and we hope you will stay in touch during the years ahead. We wish you every happiness and success in the future, and good health, and good luck. Take care.
Congratulations, class of 2020. You made it.
Congratulations to our graduating classics majors, and may the force be with you.
Congratulations, everybody.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, class of 2020.
Congratulations, class of 2020. I wish I could celebrate with you in person, but I am celebrating with you in spirit.
Congratulations, you made it. Now go out into the world and be Berkeley. Be bold.